Last week, Minneapolis officials confirmed they were considering a fairly rare course of action, disbanding the city police department. It's not the first locale to break up the department, but no cities as populous have ever attempted it. Minneapolis city council members haven't specified what or who will replace it if the department disbands. Joining us now to talk more is Roger Green. Roger, this is quite an interesting statement, especially in the midst of so much civil unrest and so much conversations concerning interaction of police departments, of the police. What are your thoughts on them giving any consideration to disbanding their police department?
Well, Nietzsche, I'm not always a fan of what some of the police in America do in particularly urban communities, but I'm not a fan also of dismantling a police department. This would be huge for Minneapolis because this particular police department was developed in 1867. So it has a long history of not only serving and protecting the community, but they also have a tainted history. We see that 75 years prior to George Floyd's death, about 8 blocks away, we had a situation of racial profiling and police brutality. And as early as in 2015, we have the death of Jamar Clark at the hands of Minneapolis police. So they have a tainted history of police brutality. We often look at people like LAPD or NYPD or Chicago PD of being perhaps cities with brutal cops, but Minneapolis is one of those hidden secrets that most of America are not aware of.
You know, Roger, what they're saying is that they want to not only dismantle, but also to defund the police department. What does that, for the average person, what does defunding and dismantling mean? Does that mean that just no law enforcement present, or what does that mean?
It can take many forms. In some cities, it means dismantling completely to where the citizens kind of patrol and do more of a neighborhood watch. In some cities, they have contracted other professionals to do it. I'm not a fan of it. William Shakespeare said, "Lawless are those who take their own will and consider it law." I don't really want people who are untrained, who are not sophisticated in the terms of law enforcement, patrolling the streets after their own accord, after their own mind, because everyone has differing opinions of ethics and morality in this country. And I really think it's a slippery slope for any city to be in.
Yeah, it's very interesting because police officers do many things. They patrol areas, they knock on doors, they are involved in a lot of different capacities, and to not have their presence on the street in any city or state would be quite unique. What are your thoughts on this conversation taking place just days and weeks after the death of George Floyd?
I think it brings some cynicism to those that are in Minneapolis. It makes them believe this is just for optics. It makes them think that it's a knee-jerk reaction to what has happened to George Floyd and what is happening in the climate throughout this country and all over the world in response to the death of George Floyd. So I think it brings some cynicism. I think the conversation should go forth and continue. But it's interesting that Minneapolis's name literally means city of water, and they're in hot water right now.
They certainly are. They certainly are. Well, this will be, I'm very curious to see what this defunding and dismantling may mean in this capacity. Roger, I appreciate your insight today. Thank you.
Nietzsche, it's always a pleasure talking with you.